On a solar Saturday afternoon in July 2004, she stepped on Wimbledon's center trial as an unidentified 17-year-old and walked off a domestic behalf. The early Rusky adolescent in the communicable, joyful smiling had beaten the planet #1 and ruling defend Serena Williams. In how win in the definitive, Sharapova became the tertiary youngest female in story to be top defend at the All England Clubhouse. I was possessing my meal following the matchstick and a lot of human beings were coming up to me and proverb greet and needing to get a image, human beings I've never met in my lifetime. I fair noted the wavelength of human beings, and so did my trainer, added Sharapova, relating to Mauricio Haddad. He once came up to me and he was nearly whispers in my oracle, okay, things are change, she brightly remembers him expressive her. They've modified order now of the time. Thoury a semifinalist at Wimbledon. Thoury 17-year ancient. You include to put such equine blinker at. Sharapova describes how win as a major time in her career. The endorsements and sponsor deals began to fall in, kickstarting Mark Sharapov. How Sharapova had so lot to profit of a solitary win just serves to underline the contrary for her beaten enemy. See, I believe Serena, in how special matchstick, had all to miss compared to myself, she says. I indicate, I was the underdog. If I lose how matchstick, I would be the happiest kid on the earth. Wimbledon finalist? Who would include mind? No one anticipated how of me. She's a couple time protecting defend, down there's a lot more than on the link and I believe I sensed how. How didn't frighten me, it just requested me to win more than. As great helmet tournaments carry on and the quantity of players decrease, the wardrobe chamber becomes a peaceful, blank location. Thou sense love thoury the just two human beings on the earth, Sharapova says, reliving how individual time. Thou stake a lot of moments in them, he's love thoury so associated but yet thoury so far separately since they're yours competitive environment. In her volume, Sharapova intelligibly describes the way she heard Williams weeping in the wardrobe chamber following the definitive. Invading in how largest private and morbid of moments is thing Sharapova believes Williams has never pardoned her to. Apparently it was a frustrating losing to her since she was anticipated to gain, she says. I'm certainly she anticipated to win how matchstick, else Wimbledon definitive. So I believe how frustration vary, it mixed thing up. She didn't wish to miss to me once again. Although how day belonged to Sharapova, their chief-to-chief with makes for gloomy read for the Rusky. Not with 2004, a run stretch 13-year and 18 matches, has she tried win versus Williams. So, I say she's belonging me, the 30-year-old admits openly. That she has. Concealment in the barn fair a few year over, Sharapova recalls Vision Serena, and her sibling Venus, for the at first period time she was visiting the nickname Bollettieri Pong Academia in Florida. The coach's hanging training session so the students could look the Williams sisters' experience for the few days how they were down there. Sharapova's dad insisted she go too much, to look these unbelievable athletes, she recalls him expressive her. I wish you to look, and I wish you to fair see in their eyes to see the wish and the desire, to see how they act the play, was your Sharapova's consultation. Not needing to offer the sisters the gratification of vision her in the stands, Sharapova found a non-traditional concealment location of that she could watch. Okay, down there's a wood barn over the trial, she explains. It was love a live video barn, wherever they do live video analyze, or so I went in how barn and I was love peeking via the slight opening and fair testifying year of my lifetime up me. They were already great helmet champions at the period and fair a few year after it was very as if who took me and put me in a TV display and put me up versus Serena Williams. Inbound in America 11 year up Sharapova was topped Wimbledon defend, she landing at Florida airport in her dad, the couple had just $700 to their behalf. Her mom, Yelena, had planned to exceed them but wasn't allowed due to visa restrictions. It would be 2 year up they would see every some once again. Yura had planned for who to choose them up of the aeroport, but how men never arriving. Hardly capable to say a speech of British among them, they were twisted in a new nation in the medium of the overnight in anywhere to go. Sharapov is all too aware how had it not been for destiny, nice luck, or the goodness of strangers, her history could include been fully various. He's 2:00 a.m. and no is down there and wherever do you come, she says. Which do you do? Who do you urge? And later, down there happens to be a pair how you encounter on the aircraft how conducted you to their in-chamber, she recalls. Thou end up stay on the story and fare such experiences, love, who were the saviors. Someone. While we're youthful, we ever say remain off of strangers, but such were the strangers how very helping us get to wherever we are present. Through her career, Sharapova has colored herself as the underdog, as if it were her versus the planet. She believes the backs against the wall attitude branches of her period healthy about Pong Academia student hostels, ever creature and foreign, never rather fit in. I was in guys how were lot older rather than I was, how had really various interests, how remaining up deceased, how didn't get their kind of sports as severely as I had, she recalls. So I believe we're perhaps on various purpose carrier paths and I carried out how of a youthful year. And I believe portion of how in isolation me. It became a addiction and it became so repeated how I didn't though note it, but it was completely lone in such times. Narcotic ban on March 7, 2016, Sharapova named an improvisation clique meeting to declare she had unsuccessful a drugs testing. The forbidden material meldonium, an above-the-counter cardiac medicine usually utilized in the countries before consisting the Soviets Association, had been found in a regulatory testing she had undertaken next her Australia outdoor quarter-final destruction to Serena Williams. Although at the period Sharapova recognized complete liability for take the narcotic, to the day she furiously denies deliberately take a prohibited material how would aid sport productivity. Initially ordered meldonium in 2006 both of as a cardioprotective broker and as a preventive broker for diabetic, Sharapova declared she wasn't aware the Planet Against Doping agent, WADA, had added the narcotic to the forbidden material listing on January 1, 2016, 18 days up the begin of the Australia outdoor. It was disgusting, she told, description her feeling on listening of the unsuccessful testing. It was remarkable. It was a lot of tension. So lot ambiguity, I believe. How was the hardest feeling how I had to transactions in. But questions on the legality of Sharapov's defense yet stay. How had no in her crew of agents, doctors, dietitians, lawyers and advisors not note the supplement of meldonium to the forbidden substances listing? As the definitive verdict of the freelance court studying the instance told, she is the single writer of her own misery. Lot guideline figures on the round, largest especially Eugenie Bouchard and Caroline Wozniacki, include bin vocals in their condemnation of Sharapov's back to the chain and the wild cards she has acquired. Sharapova, yet, remnant unfazed by the critique. I believe if the response was upcoming of reality, I believe I would get them in expense, she explains. Yet while the reactions go of fair the private view, or things how are not relying on facts, down there's no period for me to believe on how. Resignation Sharapova is diamond she never believed the narcotic ban would end her career, though she admits not knowledge how length the ban would be was terrible. In spite the ban razor 15 months off her career, the 5-time great helmet defend believes it gave her a new rent of lifetime. Preliminary to her favorable testing, she admits to severely interesting the concept how 2016 would be her recent year on the vocational chain. Following affliction repeated arm injuries in her previous 20 years and exposed surgical, Sharapova was uncertain if her flesh could go on to manage in the rigors of the round, lot less than if she had the wish to go on game. To hold making how mill, 6 days a 1 week, for several hours on late, she says. Competitive at 18, 19 tournaments a year and making it above and above, thou aware, he's a conjunction of things how get you to a top, if he's a rank or a top stance and all such things include to go along. I ever knew how I had a desire for the kind of sports, but I fair thick felt love I would fair one day wish to sit on the sofa. And I don't aware, meeting on the sofa gets cute dull. Sharapov says she would love to end her career on their own regulation, yet, as of still, doesn't aware herself which the tool. I don't aware if he's a great helmet, I don't aware if he's else win, I don't aware if he's a private win. I don't aware, she says. I believe we aware so lot things. We aware planning, we aware events, but all I aware is things how I've reached. I aware all such things. I aware which I'm able of. I aware how lot wish I include. Or I yet sense love I include a lot to give.